Tiffany will be the 10th Hall of Fame inductee from the softball program. Chris will be the first member of the LIU Brooklyn Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Brad. Guys here. Let's go. With the 4th. First of all, I want to congratulate all the inductees on their Hall of Fame induction today. It's an awesome honor, and we're really, really proud of every single one of you. It's nice to see the Hall of Fame people from the past come back. My eyes are over here, by the way. Come back and spend some time with us, so thank you. Our sports information gentleman, Dan Lobats, gave me some stuff, which I'll make sure I read here. You might have heard at halftime, but I'll get this little part here out of the way. Tiffany was a 3-time first-team All-NEC selection, posted a .309 career batting average, helped lead the Blackbirds to a remarkable 71-11 record in league play for a 4-year career. Graduated with the program's all-time leading hitter in games, at-bats, hits, doubles, putouts, etc., etc., etc. That's how you got into it. Nice job. People in that room kind of looked at this stuff and felt you were worthy. I'll kind of talk about some other things with Tiffany. You know, I come to these Hall of Fame inductions every year, and I've been doing it for as long as we've had them. And I'm always thinking about the inductees and my perception of them. How can I compare the inductees to somebody in my sport so I have some relevance and some real perspective on it? And I don't know if Arnie Ramirez is here. He's always talking about that Hibachi soccer team, or what is it, Tahichi or Tawichi? I'm sorry. I can't remember a kid's name, so I'm not going to remember a soccer team's name. So I figured maybe I'd just take a little bit of my time here and talk about maybe some players in different sports that you may be able to make some relevance as to how we feel about Tiffany Cooley and what she did for our program. And I guess I'll start with soccer. And there's no soccer people in here, and you may not know some of these names, but growing up I used to go to a lot of Cosmo games at the Meadowlands, and there was a gentleman by the name of Stevie Hunt who played the wing for there's TJ, he's here, I don't know this name. He played the wing for the Cosmos, and Stevie Hunt would run up and down that wing for 90 minutes, and he just wouldn't stop. It was like just a battery that kept going and going and going. And then with about 2 minutes to go in the game, you make a nice cross, hit Canalia's head, and put it in, and they beat the strikers 1-0, 2-1 kind of thing. Tiffany was the same kind of player. And by the way, with soccer, I don't know if he ran 90 minutes, because for 20 minutes, you guys are down withering in pain of some minor injury. So maybe they ran 70 minutes kind of thing in the game. But Tiffany was the same kind of player. She would just wear people down with good mechanics, great desire, etc., etc., and find a way to help us win a game. If you look at football analogy, a good friend of mine, Billy Ard, was an offensive lineman for the New York Giants, or New York Football Giants, as he would say, when Phil Simms was there, and Bill Parcells, and they won a couple world championships. And Billy, his job was just to make sure that Phil Simms didn't hit his back. And he did all the dirty work. And once in a while, you have to open up a hole so the running backs would get through. They'd win a couple Super Bowls, and nobody would know about Billy Ard and Bart Oates and the linemen. The only people who knew about him were the people who knew the game, his teammates. They would know that the only reason they won was because of the work that Billy Ard and Bart Oates and the linemen did in that particular game. While the fans and the media would be all over Phil Simms and the running backs, etc. Tiffany Cooley, the same kind of kid. If you didn't know the game, you would just take her for granted. But you can't win without Tiffany Cooley's. If I'm going to look at a basketball analogy, I know we got some basketball people in the room, and I'm a little bit older than a lot of you, unfortunately. But if you remember Jerry West, the Lakers, what a great shot. I mean, he had that smooth stroke. It'd be the same stroke every single time. It didn't matter if it was 2 minutes into the first quarter, or when the game was on the line and the buzzer was about to go off. It was the same smooth stroke that he took. And he did it with confidence, and he was clutch. Tiffany Cooley, same smooth stroke. It didn't matter if it was the top of the first or the bottom of the seventh with the game on the line. And that only comes with a lot of repetition, a lot of effort, a lot of practice to build those circuits that you don't have to think about it when the pressure's on the line. And thinking about a little baseball analogy, there's a couple people that come to mind when I think of Tiffany. Pete Rose played the game with fierce determination to win. He hated to lose more than he liked to win. His effort was outstanding. Tiffany's bet in a couple of LIU softball games. I don't know how you did in that category, Tiff. No, I'm just kidding, yes. You bet in any LIU games. But her determination to play the game and win was right in that category with Pete Rose. And another player who comes to my mind is an old Yankee, Don Mattingly. Don Mattingly had that sweet stroke you talked about with Jerry West. He was left center, right center, left center, right center, up the middle, up the middle, up the middle with his stroke. But he was professional with how he did things. Tiffany Cooley was so professional at a young age with how she approached the game was incredible. We talk about routines as athletes. Tiffany definitely had a routine going to the plate. She'll tell you that when she left the dugout, she'd take a cup of water and have a shot of water as soon as she left the dugout to go in the on-deck circle. Every time. And she probably doesn't know it, but I know she took the same number of steps every single time from the on-deck circle to the plate. It was just a routine to her, and it kept her comfortable. And those times when she was at the plate and she got a little nervous, she would hum "Build Me Up Buttercup." She would just sit there and hum. Sometimes she would look at it and go, "What the heck is this going to do?" But it kept her in the present, it kept her calm, and she was able to perform in the clutch all the time. So anyway, I don't know if those analogies helped you or not, but I think all those people that I mentioned to you, they're throwbacks. You know, they're old-time throwbacks. That's why some of you don't even know what I'm talking about when I mentioned Jerry West and Don Mattingly, etc. They're throwbacks. Tiffany Cooley was a throwback on the field and off the field. A throwback. She was raised by parents. Well, first of all, before I go into that, she was before the internet. She's before the texting machines. You know, she's before the little things you put in your ears and listen to some crazy music. She was way before that stuff. She was raised by parents who taught her that you're not entitled to jack crap. You earn everything in life. And that's hard to do today with kids. Kudos to Ed and Kathy over there because she came in like that every single day. She was grateful for LIU before we were even grateful for her. But she was a throwback in that sense. Tiffany treated everybody with respect. She had a personal brand which was outstanding. She was honest, she was accountable, she was respectful, she had an unbelievable work ethic, and she was really likable. She was likable. Did I say she was likable? Yeah, she was really freaking likable. And that's really hard for kids these days. Her self-esteem never outweighed her self-respect. Her head never got in the way. She had a high level of self-respect, and she respected everybody else. And her esteem never got higher than her self-respect. Another thing which we deal with coaches now all the time, a lot of people's self-esteem gets way higher than their self-respect, and then we run into some problems. She didn't vomit. She didn't make excuses. You know, when you make excuses, it's like you're vomiting. It's making you feel better, but making everybody else around you feel like throwing up. She never made excuses. Never. If it didn't go right for her, she got right back at it and worked out on her own. And if it didn't go right for her, she didn't run to the principal. She figured it out. She got it right. If coach raised his voice, she realized I was teaching and coaching, not yelling. It's a beautiful thing. Again, great job, Kathy and Ed. A lot of kids will run to the principal really, really fast. She was a low-risk player. You knew what you were getting. You know, sometimes kids go to the plate, they're like emotionally unbalanced. They're like crazy. And I'm sure you see it in your sports. But you know, with Tiffany, you knew when she got to the plate, she was in a good place. I knew what I was getting. I was going to get an honest effort. It was going to be a consistently positive effort. Whether she succeeded or not, I knew what I was getting. No need to pinch it for that. It was great. But I think, you know, just in my mind, I'm just looking at you there. She was like duck fast. I don't know why this came to my head. You know, she didn't have a great form. You runners know. She didn't have a great form, but you couldn't catch her. She's like a duck. You couldn't catch her. You just bottle all over the place and stealing bases, running around. She was on. I don't know why. I just looked at you and thought a duck fast. I apologize for that. but I think from my perspective, I'm going to take your 15 minutes here, not too long, but the most important part to me and why I really think Tiffany Cooley, I'm so proud of her being a Hall of Fame, is because whether she knew it or not back then, she was beginning to build a culture that was conducive to winning championships for our program. And she didn't even know she was doing it with her teammates, but she was building that culture. And that's hard. It's really, as a coach, and as coaches here, we know how hard that is to kind of develop. And what she taught everybody, and what we've tried to do with our program, that culture, as in families and organizations, businesses, teams, culture always trumps talent and strategy. And I can make a lot of mistakes as a coach if I got a good culture. And she helped build that culture back in the 90s. And because of that culture, and we try to make sure it's emulated, and we repeat it year after year, and our new kids buy in, our program's been able to win more Northeast Conference titles and play the NCAA championship more than any other team in the Northeast Conference in history. And we're really, really proud of that. So Tiff, that's where I think your legacy is. It's not in those stats that Dan was so nice to give me. We kind of knew all those, but your legacy is what you've helped build for our culture. And it's allowed me to tell those group of ladies back there and every team that we bring in here that I will not let them win championships unless they do it the right way. And it's because of you, you give me the confidence to say that, the group of girls that you played with, that I can do that with this group right over here. And we will, they know, they've heard it a couple times this year, we will not let them win a championship unless they do it the right way. So Tiffany, it's with my pleasure on behalf of Bill and our staff and everybody here to welcome you into our Hall of Fame. I'm so proud of you. She's out re-seeing the game now to high school kids, which makes me even feel better about it. But congratulations, well deserved. Come on up and thank you.